Hi everyone, today's lesson will be the bat wings. So for bat wings, there's two parts. One is the webbing of the bat wings and another part would be the bones of the bat wings. So for now, we only have the silhouette of the wing. So let's go in and take out the skeleton structure of the bat wings. So I'm just literally lassoing and just cutting or duplicating from the bottom, make the shape of the wing better. So as I'm doing masking, it's always 100% opacity brush with no pressure on. So yeah, and the most important part is getting the silhouette as nice as possible. Silhouette is very important because if you have a good silhouette, it will tell you what the item or the subject already is. It can already define the subject for you even before you do the details in the subject itself. So yeah, having good silhouette is definitely important. So what I just did is to select the mask of the webbing and then delete away everything that I have drawn extra for the bones. So I think we can go ahead to draw the bones first. So for bones, there are certain things that we gonna keep in mind. Is the joints of the bones. So if your silhouette already shows that the thick and thin of the bone, it already tells you that there's a joint. But if you try to render a straight line and then you draw like a ball in between here, it will look very fake. Like we know that this is a joint, but the silhouette is not conveying that it is a joint itself. So having a good silhouette sometimes already tell the story, and sometimes you don't need to render more than what the silhouette already offers. A lot of professional artists definitely are master of silhouette, and they don't do as much detail as you think they do. Most of the subject is most of the things or detail that you see is actually just silhouette based, and they only focus on rendering the area that is the most important, especially the face, the hand, maybe a weapon if it's for a game. Yeah, so definitely be observant, be a little bit more observant, and check out what the professionals do to their art. Like where do they simplify things, what is just silhouette and it already look good. Yeah, you will definitely learn a lot more, and you will learn the importance that silhouette is probably everything compared to drawing tons of detail in your work. I'm going to cheat and give her a little bone here. Even though this does not exist in real life, you will not have a finger joint in your elbow bone, but for a fantasy character, I think that is fine. And anything to make her look good. As we've seen a reference from before, the webbing can also be on the top part of the wings. So in this case, we can, if we want to chase a little bit of realism, we can actually add the webbing on top. And I think it's nice to have a little bit of webbing here. Let's keep it that way. And again, I am still very concerned with the silhouette. Right now it's still not the best. So let's go in and touch up a little bit more on the silhouette. If you have been observant enough, you realize that most of my workflow is to do the silhouette, and afterward I will just use 2 tones, if not 3 tones, to sort of get the details into the subject, and then I will just add a little bit of gloss or highlight to it, and then the thing will just pop already. So learning how to simplify things into 2 to 3 value is actually very important, and it will fasten up your workflow by a lot of time, because if you learn how to simplify things in as little value as possible, then first of all, your subject would be easier to read because it can be read in 2 tones. Second of all, you have already solved the bigger issue in that 2 tones, thus you don't have to solve more problem later on. And the more things you add later on, they will definitely be within the foundation you have set in the first place, the 2 tones or the 3 tones that you have set in the first place. Right. For example, right now, we do know where the socket of the bones are. And if I were to add detail to this, it's at most just a little bit of color dodge to show the form, of the protrusion or the bulge of the bones, and a little bit of gloss if there's a need to have gloss, which I don't think is necessary, but for the sake of the tutorial, we can add a little bit of gloss to the bones. And the bone already look realistic, or it looks like, it look like what it is. So that's good enough. At the end of the day, this bone is not going to be the focal point, so there's no point in rendering past this stage at the moment. We're gonna see how the most important part, especially the face and the horns, fare first before we add more details to the bones on the wings. So right now we are going to do the webbing of the wings. So for the wings, if you zoom in for these references, it's just some textures. Especially this brush that I'm using is the same brush that I use for this, and then a little bit of hue shift and some gray textures on. So that is to imitate the fur on the wing itself. There's a little bit of small hairy surfaces on the wing itself, and wings are generally so thin that they have subsurface scattering, therefore the hue shift. So that's something we can play with as we draw the wing. So right now I am just dabbing colors into the wing to try out what color looks good with the wing. Yeah, and I definitely do not like this gray purple color, so I'm trying to find other color to replace the gray purple or make it look better. And also definitely zoom out and check, and I think that this part of the wing can be darker in general, and we might be able to add like some highlights on the edges to make the wing look more visually obvious, I would say, because right now without the edges, it does look like it's not obvious at all. Maybe even for the bones, we have not added the yellow or the gray onto the wing, so let's do it now. Same logic as before. Big brush to small brush, right? I started with super big brush, and then I go in with the detail with a super small brush. And we were talking about how to make the wings look more realistic and more more realistic and more detailed. There's one way we can do is to add some holes in it. Things that are perfect does not look too real, especially organic stuff, like things Organic stuff should always have some sort of flaws to it, be it like torn, be it like broken part, cracks, decay. Yeah, those are the things that make an organic being realistic. And since the subject we are drawing, this Succubus, she's already a very beautiful character, right? Her face, her hair, her horn can be flawless, but the rest of the details that she has can have some flaw in them that adds a sense of realism to her design, I feel. Just picking random purple as the highlight. Normally I will use white color, but this purple wasn't planned, so I might change the purple later on, based on what looks good later on. Right now I'm going to burn the wings area around the bone, because that's where the shadow is cast, and also that's where the blood vessel of the wings are. So if I were to be more detailed, I will start drawing blood vessel in the wings itself, on the wing itself. Yeah, so this is if I want to be really precise. Yeah, so the more vessel I add, the more grotesque she will look. At the end of the day, I don't want her to look too grotesque. So I think we will keep it like this for now. And also I'm going to dodge some part of the wings to give the subsurface scattering a little bit more obvious. So in wings, there are parts that are softer and there are parts that's lighter. So the variation of the skin would cause different part of subsurface gathering. So we have a nice wing like that. And then right now I'm going to do the same for the back wing. Probably I will time lapse that part. And at the end of the day, I choose to just duplicate and liquefy it a little bit. Just duplicate and simplify it a little bit and change the shape to keep it consistent. Like redrawing this part of the wing is quite a bit of work to do. So it doesn't matter at this point because we can always paint over it later. If we need to make it anything different. So yeah, and this also at the same time keep the shape consistent. And that's it for our wing tutorial. Let's move on to the horns.